Yo guys, what's going on? It's your boy BlancOffline. Today we're going to be talking about the Call of Duty Modern Warfare Alpha and my general thoughts, opinions and overall review on this game. I want to start off by saying that this is a alpha, and so that we can't really judge the game for what it is, because again it is an alpha, but I will do my best not to make definitive judgments and just give general thoughts, I guess, regarding this game in the current state that we played it in. Before I get any further, if you're going to enjoy this video, please leave it a like, and if you're new around here, click that subscribe button because you do not want to miss out on all my upcoming Call of Duty Modern Warfare content. But let's get into it. Let's start off by talking about the gunplay, because the gunplay is something that I really wanted to get into and analyze and get a feel for in this alpha. And in my opinion, they're a lot different to what we've seen in previous Call of Duties. When I first started playing the alpha, my first couple of games, it took a while for me to get used to how much these guns kick, how much different weapons do different things. So let's, for example, the LMGs in the game, they kick a lot more, so it's a lot harder to keep your shot on target and kill enemies like that, but they're super duper powerful. So in that sense, if you are accurate with them, you can get some pretty nice kills rather fast. I noticed that with SMGs, they have the fire rate on the SMGs is really fast, depending on which one you use, and there's not too much recoil on SMGs. There's some decent recoil on assault rifles, especially when you use it without some sort of scope, and when you're just using it with the iron sights and that sort of stuff, then there's quite a bit of kick there. But overall, after those first couple of bedding in games, I found that the weapons, I got used to using the weapons because they are a lot different than what they were in, let's say, Black Ops 4, for example. A lot of the guns in Black Ops 4 don't really have a kick, and if you use grip 1 and grip 2, the weapons really don't have any recoil or anything like that. So it's a big shift going from Black Ops 4 here in some Modern Warfare, because the guns behave very differently, and it's not a bad thing. I actually think that the guns behaving in this way is super dope. Like, you got to start thinking about what weapon you're using, what situations you're going to use those weapons in. Because I found myself, let's say I started off a game and I was using the Desert Eagle. I knew that I could pick shots from long range because the Desert Eagle is a 50 caliber weapon, and I can kill people from long distances. I'm just not going to get a one shot or a two shot. So I found myself, whenever I was using a Desert Eagle or a pistol, I'd find myself running and gunning a lot. Same with an SMG, and in some instances same as an assault rifle. For example, with an assault rifle like the AK-47, I found myself not doing that too much, and I found myself more kind of choosing my fights mid to long range. Obviously 2v2 with the gunfight game mode, it is a lot. It is pretty frantic at times, and you don't get too much time to kind of set yourself up and put yourself in a position where you can pick enemies off in the distance that you want to, because oftentimes enemy teams will just swarm you. Like, as soon as the 5 seconds is up and the round starts to go, usually people will start to go at you straight away, so it's hard to kind of set yourself up in that way. But I think that in the proper game, when we get to the multiplayer beta, and then when we get to the proper release of the game as well, we're going to see and you're going to be able to strategically use your weapons to your advantage and pick your fights accordingly to the weapon you choose. So I think that in this game, gunplay is going to be a massive thing, and especially when we get to play around with the gunsmith, that's going to elevate the way we use our weapons a lot more than we have seen in previous Call of Duties. So just from this alpha, I can see how important the weapons are and weapon attachments are. It's going to be a massive thing in this game, so I'm super keen on that, and I like the way that Infinity Ward is doing that, and I like the way that we're going in that sort of sense. Moving on from weapon play and that sort of stuff, movement and that sort of stuff. Movement is a lot different in this. I wouldn't say it's a lot different. I think that's an over exaggeration. I think movement is different in this game. It's a lot more clunky, I'd say. I'd say that you feel a lot heavier in Modern Warfare as opposed to, let's say, Black Ops 4 again. You're a lot heavier. Sliding, you don't slide as far as you would in, say, Black Ops 4. Your soldier kind of feels heavy. The animations look heavy. Your weapons obviously have an effect on your player's movement and stuff like that. So all that is very, very realistic, and it does change the way you kind of sprint around the map and that sort of stuff. So in that sense, the changes there are noticeable, but they don't really affect gameplay too much. So there's really no issues there if you thought that was going to be an issue at all. As well, moving on from movement and that sort of stuff, the gunfight game mode as a whole is pretty fun. I'd say it does get repetitive at times because you're constantly going round in, and it's like, let's say 30 seconds to a minute rounds max. And eventually you'll get to a point where you've used all the weapons already in the different configurations and stuff like that, and you kind of get tired of just doing constant 2v2, round in, round out, and then that be it after 6 rounds or however long it takes to win the game. Even though it does get repetitive, it is a lot of fun, I'd say. I think that this game mode thrives off playing it with another person. Obviously, it's a 2v2 game mode and you can play it with randoms, but I think that when you're playing it with someone on your team and someone in a party, it elevates that experience even more because you can get that communication, and you can kind of know how that player is going to play. So you can do your thing, they can do their thing, and kind of strategize that way. I think that gunfight is going to be a pretty popular game mode here in Modern Warfare. I think that for Xbox and PC players especially that didn't experience it in the alpha, I think that they will go into the game mode and really enjoy it. For PS4 players, I'd say not too much. Obviously, the people who played the alpha like myself and like you probably, we know what to expect from gunfight, so gunfight wouldn't be the first game mode we jump into, or I know for myself I'm not going to be jumping into gunfight anytime soon when the full game releases or if it's in the beta, because I already experienced that game mode here in the alpha, so I don't think that I need to, I don't have an urge to get into that game mode again. But again, as I said, for Xbox One and PC players who haven't experienced gunfight yet, it's a fun mode. I would say that gunfight is a really fun mode. I think that the what do they call it, gunfight RTS, gunfight something, or OTS or whatever, that game mode that they implemented later on in the alpha, it is okay. I would say that mode doesn't, it's gunfight. Like, it takes a lot of time for you to get set up. Like, in the time it takes for you to get your gun, get your grenades and whatnot, the round could be over, or by the time you get all your weapons set up already, the round could be over as soon as you get ready. Like, it takes too long to get ready and get your guns in that game mode. So if Infinity Ward is taking the feedback from that, I'd say that, I don't know how they could do it, but try to speed up the way that you can get guns and stuff like that. Maybe have more guns around the map, maybe have them in more readily available positions, or what they could do. But in my opinion, that mode takes too long to get started, taking away from the fun of it all. I found that the proper gunfight itself played a lot better than that new game mode, and in my opinion was just overall better. But I like the variants that they added there. I like the fact that it was like the old school mode in Call of Duty, and new players could experience that, old players could reminisce about that game mode, but I don't know, in my opinion at least, it doesn't really work for gunfight because the rounds are so fast and they are so quick to come off. In my opinion, at least, without a few tweaks, it doesn't really work with gunfight. But if we do see it in the proper game, I'm fine with that. I'm all for more content in my game. Let's wrap it up. I think I talked about all I really wanted to talk about: guns, movement, the game mode as a whole. There wasn't too much that we could essentially pick apart in this alpha because we only got gunfight, and there's not too much to kind of tear apart there. But from what we did experience and from what I experienced, at this point in time am excited for Modern Warfare still. I think that this alpha does generate the hype a lot. I think that this alpha did wonders for Infinity Ward because they got some community feedback that they can then implement into the beta, as well as implement into the full game as well. I don't think that if people are making a definitive judgment based on this alpha, I think they're wrong, because it's an alpha. It's not a complete build of the game, and it's not even the full game. So for the people who are kind of saying that this game is already trash, there's no real substance to that argument, because like you've only played one game mode in the game, where there's 3 main game modes and there's multiple game modes inside of multiplayer, and there's so much to dive into with this game still. It's not fair to really judge it at this point, which is why I'm not going to give a definitive opinion. I'm just going to say that I'm excited for the game. I'm keen to see where Infinity Ward takes this game in general, where they take it in the beta, where they take it in the full release. I think that we have a good game on our hands, and if Infinity Ward doesn't stuff it up, then we have a pretty decent Call of Duty coming this year. If you guys did enjoy this video, as I said at the start, do leave it a like, leave a comment down below if you guys played it. What do you guys think? I want to hear from you. Again, as I said, if you are new to the channel and this is your first video watching, click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.